This is Essentials of Indian Penal Code 1860 with Dr. Sai Kumar Pathrudu M. He is a distinguished legal luminary. He has n number of accomplishments, which we'll come to at some other point of time, because right now the time limit for the class is very short, and sir has made it very clear that I have to keep my introduction very, very limited. This is an introduction on behalf of Westerlex. This is a free legal seminar, and we'll be conducting such more seminars on weekend basis.
Good afternoon, everybody. Hope all who have attended lecture number 1, this is lecture number 2. I hope you people are ready and receptive. Dear friends, now today's topic is Indian Penal Code. This is Indian Penal Code is also is applicable to entire country, and it is same, absolutely same, one act all over the country. Now, the Indian Penal Code means the crime, the crimes committed in India. I'll go shortly because in a given time, it may not be possible to impart everything to you all, but the bird view, especially the essentials of IPC, I'll definitely go through. Apart from that, my object is, Mr. Keshav, you also note down, to
Yes, sir.
read and understand the Indian Penal Code in its true form. So, reading and understanding, once you understand that, so the people who are participants all are equally knowledgeable, okay, and all are intellectual. So, this guidance is for reading the act in its right perspective and application of the same either as a student in exams or a professionals or anywhere wherever it is applicable. Now coming to the object of law, any act is object is absolutely necessary. So the object of law exists to save society from the evil propensities of some of its members. In simple words, it is a protection. That there are two protections available. That is, one is the protection of your life, your own life, and you have a right to protect others. And in the second wider aspect is to protect your own properties and also properties of the others, including state properties. That usually we see uh, in the case of violence, in case of dharnas, in case of all kinds of where law and order comes in. So the Indian Penal Code is essentially a law to control the humans conduct in a society for peace living in the society, and the human being is abstained from doing any wrong act or prohibited act under the code. So the Indian Penal Code is given to us by the British government 1860, and till date, my friends, only amendments are done. Only amendments expanded where it is necessary due to the present demand and necessity. Otherwise, the act remains same, absolutely same. So the act itself is a very good act. Uh, Mind you, there is no codified law in England, but the England rulers have given codified law to us, and which is working till date, and it will work further also. So coming to the law, I will just briefly take you all to read any act. Please mind scope and object. So I said scope and object, that stoppage of wrongdoing and plus stoppage of prohibited act and protection of men, women, animals also. Okay, and properties, protection of properties, including personal right, like defamation, that also falls under. Now, the entire act, Indian Penal Code, consists of section 1 to section 511. 511 sections. So, in this 511, how it goes through, let us see. Let us see. And it is a vast law, so please don't mind that it is not possible to cover. I'll try to cover as much as possible, but wherever it is necessary, that I will give certain examples to come and complete within the habit of law. So 511 section 1, as always said, it is section 11 continue is a short title which is expandable. Section 2 are definitions. As there are various definitions given in the IPC, and then it goes by chapter wise. Now, chapter wise, I have been telling you that reading the chapter wise is very, very advantageous to us all. Now, before going to chapters, let me consider first the primary thing, what is elements of crime. So, to cover the elements of crime, my dear friend, we four things are required. One, the element of crime, there should be a human being, a man, and second is that mens rea. Mens rea means intention, mental element, or evil intent. So mens rea is a base of the Indian essential, one of the essential characters of the crime. That is intention. What is his mental element? What is his evil intent? Then actus reus. Actus reus, R-E-U-S. Actus reus means act or commission. There should be an act or commission. Then there is an injury. So injury, dear friend, physical injury, property injury, and plus personal injury like defamation, lowering the reputation of the person by making false. Then we come to the wide aspect of jurisdiction. Jurisdiction is section 4 covers under jurisdiction, and section 4 covers under jurisdiction. This jurisdiction, only one case I'll tell you when it came, that there was a Makbul Butt case. Makbul Butt. What happened in the case? Makbul Butt was a Pakistani and who came to India and started business in Goa. And after starting business in Goa, he put in his office the main leaders of Nehru, Gandhi, and he started doing business of rice. He introduced himself a very big rice merchant, and first he paid everybody. He got trust, and looking at his actions, everybody started trusting him. Then more business, and then one fine day, this gentleman walks away to Pakistan. So question arises, and he is a Pakistani national. So question arises whether this Makbul Butt can be prosecuted in India for cheating the people as a businessman. Then it came to the conclusion that the person may be a foreigner, Makbul Butt, though Pakistani national, as he has committed crime in India, he is absolutely liable. This is the jurisdiction part of the case, Makbul Butt. And what is the jurisdiction? Jurisdiction, the entire country, land, and in sea, it is 12 nautical miles. And also in foreign country, suppose if Air India flight blows and something happens foreign, so though it is a foreign land, the property of India is attacked, so the jurisdiction expanded. In sea, it is 12 nautical miles. In land, it is covered entirely. Then comes jurisdiction that, as per the states, each state has its own jurisdiction, and in states, districts have own jurisdiction. So police stations are formed, giving a jurisdiction. So there should not be any confusion about the jurisdiction, that where cause of action took place. That means scene of offense comes first. Scene of offense, where crime is committed, that is the primary jurisdiction. Primary. So, my dear friends, that we we go by chapter. Now, after definition, there is, I said, after this jurisdiction is section 4, then definitions you can see what is mens rea, what is public servant, what is, these all can understand by reading it. I have provided the notes which can be seen. Now, come to the chapter wise. In chapter wise, first comes after the introduction and all, I am going broadly, general exceptions. So general exceptions are there which covers what are not offences. For example, that any offence committed by child up to 7 years is absolutely no crime. Absolutely. Then second point is, a child commits offence age between 7 and 12 is only liable if he has a knowledge of that, otherwise not. Then the others are liable. So up to 7 years of age, no crime can be seen. And you all aware that if it is a minor, whatever crime is committed, he cannot be brought to the criminal court or cannot be arrested by police, that he will be sent to a remand home, children's home, and Juvenile Justice Act is there. So they are dealt with that. And there also that no police officer, the board will decide and keep him remand, and then board will rehabilitate the minor. So he faces the charge under Justice Juvenile Act, and he faces the crime there, but he is not brought to any criminal court, and he is not subjected to any criminal court punishment as provided in Indian Penal Code. Then general exceptions, frankly speaking, that for example, there are a lot of is there voluntary act, that it is involuntary, not voluntarily done, so it is general exception. Then unsound mind. Unsound mind means the person does not know, he has no mental capability of what he is doing. So is a like, a person is unsound mind means a mad person. What he does not know. He does not have, there is no mens rea, there is no intention behind him. The doctrine of intention is very, very, very important in crime, in a essential, very essential part of the IPC. It is like that, no intention, no crime at all. If the intention has to be there. And how intention can be done, that is the sections are there, but again, intention is a state of mind. So how it is proved? By conduct. By conduct means, suppose A goes and takes out his gun, and some after some fight, then he shoots B. So this is intention is clear. Now I'll give you one case law here, how intention works, because if one has to reach to the intention, sometimes even high courts overlook it due to situation or just oversight. But Supreme Court in its wisdom always clears. There is one case, a Ramakka's case. What happened? Ramakka, she wanted to commit suicide. So she keeps all the children in the house and she tells them, you please keep on clapping. And please they keep on clapping and Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Ram. So they have been all clapping and she commits suicide. Then the case to police, suicide case. Then somebody is always there, not pointing out. They said that these people who are around, our children, should be subject to abatement of commitment to suicide. So that they should be punished with 306. So the case goes on. But ultimately, Even High Court also confirms, yes, they have abated to the suicide. But Supreme Court in its wisdom in this Ramaka very clearly stated that what they have done is only clapped. Clapped what? At the instance of the person who committed suicide, asked them to do. They did not have any intention at all that she will die or she will commit suicide. They have not encouraged her in any moment. They have done it, and the intention is totally absent. This is mens rea, and they have struck down the entire case, stating that there is no case made against the people who are present before that lady by clapping. Now coming to the sections, as roughly so general exception, one more is there that a drunken person, inebriate condition person, only their condition is that he should not he should not have taken the drink voluntarily. Involuntarily, that is the condition. If involuntarily, after after the drink, he commits an offense in an inebriated condition without knowing what he is doing, it falls under general exception. So that is also exempted from the crime. My dear friends, going further, that I'll only touch important sections. Uh, the 120, I'm directly going to 120 conspiracy and 120B punishment for criminal conspiracy. Mind you all, the criminal conspiracy is easy to be blamed, very difficult to prove, because criminal conspiracy requires two things. That is, number first is that it should be, conspiracy should be by meeting of the persons. Now electronic is there. Previously there was no electronic communications there. So there should be meeting of the minds, and there should be a strategy, and there should be a common intention, and the act done is in further of common intention. And conspiracy is, sometimes conspiracy cannot be established. Like, it is very difficult because conspiration is done somewhere else and execution is done somewhere else. So it is very difficult. Like, you can take the question of this Indira Gandhi's case. So it is okay executed by Bean Singh and Santan Singh, but then these are exactly last execution. Who has conspired? Where it all started? Who planned? Same thing applies to Rajiv Gandhi's case, where only two leaders in the world were blasted out. One is Rajiv Gandhi, second is Pakistan General Zia-ul Haq. So that who is the conspirators? So conspiracy is easy to blame. Very bring, they will not keep any evidence. It is in the crime. It is very similar. Like, see, as I am a don, I am just sitting at one place here. Then I tell B, and B tells C. C tells D. E is the executor. E does the work. That's all. What about how to connect from this E to A? In between, when the things are very hot, D is eliminated or something. So the legal evidence, to bring in legal evidence for 120B conspiracy is a bit difficult. Then I'll touch another section. These are important sections which connect conspiracy, which is difficult to be proved. Now another section is that 134, actually abatement of any kind of all abatement, it starts from 109 course, and then how it is related. Then the abatement is again 114, that when accused is present, he is equally responsible. Of course, the role played by each accused will be revealed and appreciated in the trial as per the evidence. That, like, just now, Maybe Sharma sir, I had a great opportunity to listen to him. What he said, even in the Maintenance Act, whether any act, any action in law, any litigation, the primary proof is must. Primary proof. that proof has to be brought before the court for deciding. Now comes to very frequent common sections which come in our way everyday seen paper. That is 144, joining unlawful assembly and with armed weapon, unarmed weapon in it. Then the punishment is there 140 for joining unlawful assembly armed with deadly weapon. So in law and order, you are in. Then suppose if rioting is there, 147 is there. So 144 is a curfew. What is we understand under IPC is there should be law and order is there, and to is there. Today still it is there, evening to early morning, and here more than 5 people should not come together, and then that 5 people assembly can be up. Then most use section nowadays present era is 153, that is wantonly giving provocation with intent to cause riot. Then this is amended 153A, promoting enmity between different groups, promoting enmity. Then 153AA, promoting between different groups on ground of religion. So you know that 153. You come across this, you know that somebody is giving that, what about this cow protection laws is, and all this we are filing that it is to encourage. So this is very frequently used section 153. Again, there what is required is that whether such action is promoting enmity between the two groups or two religions, and it is causing resulting in the breach of peace. Then comes section 174. Section 174 important, my dear friend. It is very simple. When public servant calls any person to the cop station, police station, they must respond. If it is not responded, that how, not by just phone call. Phone call is oral communication, but if the presence is required, there should be a letter, there should be a notice from the police station, and if it doesn't attend it, even phone call also, then they can write in a diary. That station diary is there always in police station. Station diary, everything they have to write. Whatever they, then they will, they can prosecute you for non-responding to public servant. The 6 months punishment is there or fine. So you cannot avoid the police, any government authority, summons or notice, you must respond it. So one IPC, even that is also there. Then essential sections coming to, very important is previous topic also this was going, that false evidence. So 193, punishment for false evidence. So giving false evidence in a court. So that is, this is what, this is the protection. Let me tell you a principle of law, very concept of law. All accused brought before the court are to be treated as innocent till the guilt is proved beyond reasonable doubt or preponderance of probability. It is by establishing evidential evidence consisting of primary evidence, witnesses, or documents, or other, in the absence of that circumstantial evidence, needle of suspicion strongly pointing out that last seen, last known to the person who committed accuse. Otherwise, in courts under law, the courts are bound to treat everybody as innocent. Exceptions are there. Under 498, it is exception, presumption is given that it is presumed on the complaint of the 498A that husband committed cruelty, but rebuttable presence. Like that under 138 also, because 139 a special section is created, presumptive law, stating that a check is issued, well knowing that the check has to be honored, and so if a check is honored, the person who issued check is presumed to know that he is committing an offense. Other their innocence common, but again that is rebuttable. But except these few sections, there is their general law, the general principle of law is all accused are to be treated as innocent till proved guilty. Now, 193, that is very important. That is why nobody can go scot free by rotating false evidence or by placing false evidence. Then another thing, that section 201, it is also destruction of evidence. Now, the recent case which is under trial is going on. That Sheena Bora's case, Indrayani Mukherjee, Peter Mukherjee, Sheena, that it is, destruction, that the girl is killed and thereafter evidence is destroyed. So 201 comes destruction of evidence. Now, even in Talwar's case also, though it is a beautiful judgment, Talwar's case, though parents are acquitted, still, certain things you don't get answer till date. That why that the guard who also died, died, killed, was found after 2 hours. So the first scene when they go, if that time the proper evidence is not given, then that is destroyed or somebody destroys it. So that is why the 201 destruction of evidence becomes evident and it becomes another charge along with the main murder case or main any offense. Destruction of evidence, even property also, documents can be also there. Then property, now broadly divided the chapters, it comes to all miscellaneous chapters like election, coins, offenses against coins, affections against elections, all those are there. Then mainly very important, please all take note of it, that the IPC broadly falls into two categories. Broadly falls into two categories: bodily offenses, property offenses. Bodily offenses is different, property offenses different. Bodily offenses starts from slapping. Okay, even spitting also. Spitting is under Bombay policy, it's an offense. Anywhere you spit. But slapping, start from slapping, then abusing, insulting, that comes later on. That I'll come to 504, 506. So bodily offenses from right from small injury to up to murder. Up to murder. And of course, it for extortion. So bodily injury. Then property injuries start from cheating, impersonation, cheating, 420, very frequently used section, cheating, and cheating to property, breach of trust, criminal misappropriation, property documents, FD scams, all these bank scams, all these loan scams, all these economic offenses will fall under the property offenses, which are punishable, and even forgery committed, there is imprisonment up to death, sorry, up to life. Life imprisonment is 302, death penalty is there, which is to be confirmed by the High Court. Now, before that, one more offense is very regular, common in the society, which we have to be aware. That is 279, rash driving and riding on a public way. This rash driving, and then there are that continued sections, you can say, then driving then endangering the persons, and 304 A also endangering the trans, killing people, and 304 B is there, that endangering life. So all this rash negligent, what happens? See, kindly remember always, they don't take accident. There is a victim always, and there is an offender. Either it is singly done, or it is done singly done, or it is by both the party, contributory negligence. But that is contributory negligence is seen in the MACT motor claims and of course civil laws. But in here criminal law, they see is whether rash and negligent result in. One greater aspect of this rash driving is none see the accident while happening. Even if they see it is a sudden action. It's a sudden action. Even if they see, they cannot exactly say what had happened at that particular moment of time. So there is a defense that if the mechanical failure is there, the control, or there is another fault is there, that suppose the driver becomes unconscious or he slept off incidents also, that is negligence. That is why if there is no proper rest, and then especially during night time, especially by my Guruji says, by between 12 and 3 a.m. we should not drive, because that is time is very bad and roads are not simple even with the floodlights and all. This should be available. He says बेटा 4 बजे उठ के जाओ, चाहे तो 4, 4:30, 5 बजे किधर जाओ, 12 से 3 तक it is not proper. So rash and negligent act is, one has to be very careful. For example, in all expressways they are kept at speed limit of 80. But if you see the present scenario, the motors, because these are all very fast, just you put the just race, you just accelerate or you just touch it, it will it will pick up within seconds and minutes. The speed goes. So speed control is. So rash and negligence, motor accidents really care. We must take care. Of course, we are learned advocate. So far, I have been driving. I have not done any accident, except I have done accident only to my vehicle. No injury to anybody. My got damage to vehicle to damage, nothing else. So rash and negligent, then it comes with another thing. And we are seeing inebriated condition. Police check post is उड़ा देते हैं, उसको पुलिस वाले को भी like Salman's case where 19 people died because of rash and neglect. It went on footpath, and then was there Mr. Patil with Salman. Anyway, that case is over. I'm not going to the merits and demerits of the case.
We are already
Please.
5 minutes above the half an hour benchmark.
Okay, then I concluded this way that this first you divide it by chapter, then lectures detailed of it. Now another touch I want, 353 kidnapping and 452 housebreaking. So these are the example. How to read act is, first you read the general exception, you read the definition, thereafter you go into the chapters, that it is divided into how many chapters. And once the chapters you have divided, 511. So 504, 500 is a defamation. And 504 is criminal insult. 506 is a threat to somebody. 506 2 is the threat of killing. I will kill you if you don't listen to me. That. And lastly, if offense does not fall in any of the 510 sections, then this 511 section is introduced, where an attempt to commit an offense can be, where these all other sections are not applicable. So there is the saving clause is given to bring an offense which doesn't fall under the. So coming to the essentials of the concluding part of the IPC, Indian Penal 1860, kindly read scope and I said you prohibited act and wrongdoing and propensity evil mind. Then see the general exemptions, then chapters, then divide into bodily offences and property offences, and then you have a absolute, the central idea of the act, entire act. Mind you, my dear friends, last but not least, even 511 sections, the maximum sections you come across in the profession, even after 20-15 years also, only 50 to 100. So we need not by heart, or we need not take out all the sections, keep entire. But if the entire scheme is before you, so you will have a definite good understanding, good interpretation, and good explanation, even for students also, very easily. Oh, this is falling under this part. So with this, I conclude my lecture and hope I am very clear. And if there are any questions, kindly ask. Don't hesitate to ask. Any suggestions are so welcome. Thank you very much.
I want to ask one question, Mr.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Yes. अजित इनामदार साहब, सर इज सर शर्मा साहब, ये अभी जो क्वेश्चन पूछ रहा है इज स्टैंडिंग सीनियर काउंसिल यूनियन ऑफ इंडिया, वेरी लर्नड मैन. पूछिए सर, इनामदार
Whether
साहब.
whether this IPC will be applicable to Jammu or Kashmir in the present scenario.
Yes, it is now.
Yes,
It is applicable.
After removal of
Exactly. It is applicable because it has now Jammu and Kashmir is a UT, Union Territory, falling within the states of the India.
do you have any precedent over that from the Supreme Court?
Not yet, I have not come across.
Okay.
But आ जाएगा. President पे आ जाएगा. It is a now part of the, it's a Jammu and Kashmir part of the Union Territory, as Union Territory part of India. It's a part of India, so it is, so that is why I have not read short title except Jammu and Kashmir. It is there in all acts.
There is one suggestion to you that this IPC is not to be covered in one period of one lecture. It should be part with 3/4 section. 511 sections are required to be explained in details,
Yes.
including the trials before the session court, trials before the magistrate. That is required to be explained to the student who are hearing the lectures and who are new in this particular IPC sections.
Yes, Keshav.
साइंस सर बहुत अच्छा रहा, थैंक यू.
हाँ, थैंक यू सर. सर आपका बहुत अच्छा लगा मैं.